You practiced for 25 years in Santa Monica, the mecca of pretentious, all-organic vegan assholes. I can't imagine what they must have been like with their children.
I love my Santa Monica parents. I'm not going there. Are you kidding me?
Tosh Show. Tosh Show. Tosh Show for show. Hello, everyone. It's me, Daniel Tosh, and welcome to another episode of Tosh Show. I've been redeemed.
I've been redeemed.
By the blood of the Lamb.
By the blood of the Lamb.
I've been redeemed.
I've been redeemed.
By the blood of the Lamb.
By
Eddie,
blood.
if you don't know this song, you're not going to go to heaven.
I mean,
God,
I want to go to
damn
heaven.
it.
Let's try it again.
No.
I really want to go.
You get one chance for the blood of the Lamb to redeem you. All right. Hey, I'm not excited because I know what we're doing.
Feedback.
We're getting some feedback from the viewers.
Oh, yeah. Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Grocery Store Joe's episode. Eat a bag of dicks, Tosh. Toronto rules.
I'll pass on your local cuisine. A bag of dicks. That's Toronto for you. What are you guys in the mood for today? Well, hopefully you got one of those piping hot bag of dicks for me.
Hello, Mr. Tosh. I'm a producer at Warner Brothers, and I'm interested in buying the rights to this week's bedtime story. I think it will fit nicely into our revamped DCEU. Please get in touch if you're interested.
Not interested. I appreciate the offer, but you're a little late. Marvel has already locked my son up.
The Italian restaurant near my house is called Goombas, but it's owned by Mexicans.
How's their pizzadillas? I bet they're delicious.
Andy's episode. Honestly, I can't believe anybody pays to see comedians when there's so much music to see.
Okay. First of all, dipshit, you don't see music. You listen to it. Unless you're deaf, then you feel it.
We got a little back and forth here from Andy's episode. I love the real numbers. And then there's a response. He was pulling in really good money in 1998. I don't know what he thinks that proves. $400 for like 5 days, nominally 10 hours of work. Even if he was working 8 hours a day is a lot of money for 98.
Fuck you. Just fuck you. You don't. First of all, when I was reading my calendar from 1998, that wasn't the day I started comedy. I'd been doing comedy for 5 years. That was just happened to be a calendar that I had found. And making $500 a week, yeah, that's great if you're a person that has no real dreams. But I didn't live in whatever random city I was in Ohio. I was commuting 400 miles every day to some random city to do a show. Ugh. I'm just like, if you would have gotten my calendar, which doesn't exist, from 1995 or 96, where every show I did was me just showing up to a comedy club, begging to be put on for free, and them saying no, and me driving home that night. Like that was the career for years. Then eventually I got to a point where I was making the $400 and the $500 a week while traveling in a car back and forth across the country every other day.
Let's see here.
I'm still angry about that one.
Well,
that one really burns me.
Let's move it on.
Okay.
Moving on. I worked in...
I don't know what that proves. $400 back in 19... Yeah, I remember back in 1998 when if you had $400, everyone's like, look how rich that guy is. He's got $400. Well, I mean, and people would be like, well, it's 1998. You got $400. Woo! All right, go on. What's the next one?
Chandler Parsons episode. Don't worry, Parsons. Memphis still hates you too.
You know what Chandler should do to make things right in Memphis? I don't know if you've heard, but Graceland has been in the news lately where it's potentially being sold in foreclosure. Chandler should swoop in right now for the city of Memphis and buy Graceland. Then he should demolish it. Everything except for the death toilet. Leave the toilet there. Then open up a Kansas City barbecue spot there because Kansas City barbecue is so much better than Memphis barbecue. And you go there, you get some KC barbecue, and then you get to sit on the throne. That's what Chandler should do. I think everything would be forgiven at that point.
Actually, a lot of comments about you having celebrities on. A lot of people have been calling you out because you said you were never going to have celebrities on. And then you had Michelle Wee, Luke McFarlane, Grocery Store Joe, Chandler Parsons.
Okay, that's enough. First of all, you can't believe a thing I say. I'm a huge liar. I also said I would never do a podcast, but here we are. Let me be clear. I feel like I have to say this again. I don't care what my fans want this show to be. If you think, and I'm sorry, Chandler, you're about to catch some strays right now. If you think Chandler, a role player, a former role player in the NBA, is a celebrity, then you're right. We're never going to see eye to eye on anything. I mean, no offense. He was never even an all-star. He was like a second team all-rookie. I think it was the biggest honor that he got in the NBA. I could be wrong.
Nope, you're right.
He's going to give me shit, but whatever. What I said the show was, or I don't even know what I said. It doesn't matter what I said. Here's what the show is. I'm going to interview people that I want to interview. If I find them interesting, that's why they're going to be sitting there. What I didn't want to do was do a podcast like other comedians where they're just talking about stand-up comedy back and forth to each other. And the thing about celebrities was that I didn't want to have a forced conversation with somebody that was only here to promote their new project. So that the guideline, I'll have Robert De Niro on the show if he wants to talk about having children in his 70s. Okay, that's interesting. But I don't care about someone's movie that they're contractually obligated to plug. That's where I'm drawing the line. You hear me? Is that crystal clear? Do we understand now? Can we stop with the dumb comments? You weren't going to have celebrities on, and then you had the helpful Honda guy on. I'm sorry that you're such a fucking boring person that lives in some awful place where you think anybody that's been on TV for 1 second is now a celebrity. God damn it. I didn't want to get all worked up. Knock it off. We're going to have whoever I want in that chair. And this week is no exception. Because it was brought to my attention that a lot of my fans have been getting abortions because they don't know where their baby should sleep. Well, I got to fix that. So we're having another doctor on this show. Yeah, this podcast is borderline educational. Enjoy. Tosh Show. My guest today believes that all babies should sleep in straitjackets harnessed to a gyrating bed blasting white noise. Please welcome world-renowned pediatrician, author, and inventor of the snoo, Dr. Harvey Karp. How was that for an intro?
I think that was bombastic. Fantastic, I meant to say. Fantastic.
Yeah, it was a little bit of that. First question.
Yes.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Do I believe in ghosts?
Yes.
No, I believe in higher powers, though.
All right, but you don't believe in ghosts?
No.
Well, by the way, you went to Albert Einstein College of Medicine. That's made up, right? Where is that? I don't even know where that college is.
It's in the Bronx.
Is it? Oh, okay. Yeah. You unable to get into the halls of medicine?
As it turns out, it is. Here's the.
Did I tell you that half of my questions are just dumb? Okay.
No, but listen. Here's the thing. There's science and there's humanity, and medicine really weaves those two together. And what's great about Einstein is that it really pays attention to the humanity.
Did you excel in school?
I was good. I mean, I was like a...
You're not going to be honest about that.
No, I wasn't like the smartest in the class. I mean, I did graduate early. Like I was a 16-year-old when I graduated high school.
Okay, see, already. Although...
But very immature.
Uh-huh. You practiced for 25 years in Santa Monica, the mecca of pretentious, all-organic vegan assholes whose bodies are sacred temples. I can't imagine what they must have been like with their children.
I love my Santa Monica parents. I'm not going there. Are you kidding me?
No,
listen.
They're the worst.
Do you know that now they have acupuncturists and chiropractors in Omaha, Nebraska, and vegan, guides and things like that?
Sure.
This is all across the country now.
I'm fine with I'm fine with vegan. I'm fine with organ. There's just something, another level in
one
Santa
of the things,
Monica.
but this is one of the things that parents are raising children. Sometimes they never even touched a child in their lives. Smart people, they're educated. Maybe we're the most educated people in history, but in many ways, parents are the least experienced in taking care of kids. So people are going on the internet and just trying to learn as best they can, and they're influenced by different people, and so sometimes these kind of overly concerned approach about children comes from people just not having experience.
Now you're a huge anti-vaxxer, right?
No.
I don't.
I give vaccines to all aunties. Is that what you mean?
I don't hesitate. If they tell me the kid needs it, I'm like, stick them. Let's go.
Yeah.
There's no debate ever.
Listen, I'm old enough that I've seen the effects of children who didn't get vaccinated. Now we have vaccines against disease, even chickenpox. I've seen kids who lost their legs because they got severe infections after chickenpox. Children who have had brain dissolving because they got measles. These are things that are completely preventable now. And if you live on a farm by yourself and your neighbors never come over, you can do whatever you want. But when you're living in a culture where you're exposed to other people, you have a responsibility. It's not just me. It is us. We've got to protect each other.
In your opinion, did you single-handedly bring back swaddling?
Yeah, I would say so.
By the way, are you flattered in any way? Because all of us use our phones when we have a child and like, what does this mean? And we do our own research. But that so many times the answer to the question is quoted from you. Is that flattering to you?
Really? I didn't know that.
I mean, it is. Like the amount of baby searches that you do where you're the answer that everyone agrees with.
Isn't that ridiculous? I mean, it's so odd. Here's the ridiculous thing. We've been around babies for thousands of years. How could anyone figure out something new about babies? I put it out in the world.
You can downplay that all you want, but that's impressive. The world is Googling things. You're the answer. That'll bring me back real quickly to a thing that you once said about why you kind of chose to focus on babies was because focusing on older people, cancer and all of that stuff at the end of life is, I'm paraphrasing, a little more depressing than the kids get better for the most part.
That's very much my experience. And the other part of it is that it's very hard to be a doctor and be respectful to older people. And what I mean by that is that when you as a doctor take a history, you're asking, tell me about this pain, tell me about your life, tell me about your work. You have to really learn a lot about people. If you're really going to be a good doctor, you have to understand their life, not just my toe hurts and you're focusing on that. And I found that it was really hard because when you have another patient and another one and they're stacking up and you got to see them, you can't really listen to people. You just don't have the time. And so that was really hard. Yeah.
And babies they just don't have
much.
Babies
have nothing to say. They're just chugging through.
Cutest race of babies.
Oh my gosh. You know what? It's really the mix. And that's not just taking a political answer, but you see children who are, Anglo and Asian.
You're talking about mixing races. That creates the beauty. It does. Sometimes it backfires. I've seen a few mixed race babies where I'm like, that one didn't work, and I feel bad for the parents.
Well, nothing's 100%. But the fact of the matter is that the melting pot is really a great thing because you mush all the things together and more you'll get the things you like than the things you don't like.
Babies in general, as a parent, you look at your child and you're like, oh my goodness, so beautiful. And then time goes by and you look back and you go, oh my goodness, what a monster that came out of us. It was
usually
so
people,
odd
it's just the opposite thing. I mean, sometimes the nose is smushed and the head is big or whatever, but there are studies that show that we're attracted to beings that have a big forehead and big eyes and a small chin. There's a cuteness factor that makes you go, oh, that's adorable. We're set up biologically to see babies as being cute and seeing baby animals as being cute because of their big eyes and big foreheads and things like that.
Do animals do this as well? Do you have any idea? Do animals look at other animals in their same species and go, oh, you're an attractive animal versus an ugly animal? I always wonder, because the reality is humans all look alike. It's so funny how such subtle things make one person beautiful and another person ugly. Yeah, because you're never supposed to say, "Oh, all blank look alike." That's certainly a race of people. That's not considered a very
Well,
proper.
it's not right. I mean, maybe it is if you don't know how to look at somebody. I mean, if you look at the specifics of a face, or you look at the gestalt, and the face is white and the nose is big or small, and he looks like those people, But I think when you get to know a race and you understand the subtleties of it, like, can you tell the difference between someone who's Korean or Japanese?
Absolutely
or Chinese?
not.
Yeah. So I mean, but someone who's Korean can.
Right. Well,
So,
my question is, like, do you think pelicans are going, look at that fucking ugly pelican? I'm sure they are, is what I'm. But to me, all pelicans look alike.
And I bet if you ask everybody in your audience, they would pretty much agree with you.
My audience is for the most part idiots. I find it fascinating that you're here because really the reason that you came into our lives or on our radar was because your wife backed in to my producer's car over there. Is that true?
That is true, but it was an accident. It was an accident. She wasn't trying to get me on the show. As much as we were excited when we heard about it.
That is so funny to me. I was like, well, how do you know this guy? And he's like, I was confused. He goes, nah, his wife bumped into my car and we just started talking. And I was like, oh my goodness, how's your wife doing?
She actually just twisted. We were 5 hours in the hospital a couple of days ago because she twisted her ankle hiking. But thank you for asking.
5 hours?
Yeah,
on a twisted
waiting
ankle?
to get x-rays.
You don't
and
have
stuff.
any pull at a hospital?
Are you kidding me? It would have been 15 hours. It was 5 hours was really great. But now you're making me feel bad, like I'm insignificant.
Well, I feel like you could have opened some. I mean, my mom was a nurse for 60 years. If I ever needed stitches, boy, she'd just march me right in. I always felt so cool when I was going in with my mom.
Yeah.
And let me tell you another thing. A lot of people might be like, they always ask, like, oh, why are you having this person on? I want you to know the reason that you're on is because I find you fascinating. You invent the snoo, and for those that don't know, it's a very high-end bassinet. It vibrates, it shakes, it has white noise. It basically helps your child sleep in a safe manner.
Correct.
Okay. And it's pricey and blah, blah, blah. There's always incorrect. Well, there's at some point you can get it secondhand. There's a world.
You can rent it for $5 a day. I mean, it's cheaper than a
$5 a
Starbucks. Yeah, $5 a day.
I don't drink
ships are free.
Starbucks.
Okay, blue bottle.
I don't drink coffee.
Okay.
Do you know why I don't drink coffee?
No, I was
Most
wondering.
people drink coffee because they need to be awake. You know what I do when I'm sleepy? I take a nap.
And to get energized, what do you need to do?
No,
Just open your eyes.
well, sure.
No.
I'm okay. I've just
No,
never
but
been
people drink coffee for the taste too. But here's the thing: it doesn't
They say
matter
that. They're
when
addicted.
you have a baby and you're exhausted. A lot of people are buying coffee because they got to keep their eyes open. They got to go to work. They don't want to get in a car accident.
Understood. And that's why I know that I was extremely fortunate because I had children that slept and I was in a position where I could make work around my schedule. And what I did when my baby slept, I slept. Like that was just what I did.
It's great if you can do that. But here's the thing: snoo isn't just about sleeping more. Snoo is about keeping a baby safe because it prevents them rolling over. It's the only bed that's got this FDA authorization that keeps them on the back. Do you know how many kids, just healthy kids, die in the United States?
4,000.
3,400. So close.
I mean,
Yeah. I mean, who's counting?
What's 600 babies?
Yes. Especially if they look like pelicans, right?
Okay. So you give me a pelican baby, I'm gonna be in love.
So here's the thing. It's really one of these tragedies in raising children in the United States. That's the number in the United States.
Hey, let me ask you, has any baby died in a snoo?
Yes.
Oh, how many?
There are 5 that we know of.
Okay.
So that
How many
is-
people have died in a Tesla?
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity.
No, but here's the thing. I mean, it's dramatically less than one would expect in a regular bed. So the point being that, and we're not claiming that we prevent SIDS. We don't have the privilege of doing that yet from the FDA, but we do claim that we keep babies on the back, which everybody knows is the number one way to keep babies safe.
Did you know that my grandfather died of SIDS?
No.
The oldest case.
Your grandfather. Oh my gosh.
Can I get into why I don't have a snoo?
Yeah.
So I had my first child 5 years ago, and a coworker of mine had a snoo and brought it to work for me, was going to give it to me for free. His child had grown past that age. And then the showrunner on that show, Charlie, he shamed me. he's like, oh, you don't want to hold your baby, blah, blah, blah. Like, why don't you just embrace it? So then I was like, all right, I'm not above doing it the hard way or whatever. So, and then we had our child, and sure enough, kid was a sleeper. Didn't really have much issue. If there was ever a scenario where it was like, we need to try something different, I would have waited 2 seconds and I would have purchased it at full cost.
Rented it, I hope.
I wouldn't have even rented it. But
Did you have help? Did you have help in the house?
No.
No, just you guys.
Yeah.
But you got to be able to be home during the day and whatnot. You didn't have to go out to work.
I mean, I did. I would work, but I wasn't. Yes, my schedule was very accommodating.
So there's a couple of different things that we're trying to do with SNU. One is to help babies sleep longer. We've proven that. We've measured 600 million hours of sleep, and we showed that babies automatically sleep an extra hour. But here's a curious thing. By 3 months of age, a normal 3-month-old will give you a 5-hour stretch of unbroken sleep. That's pretty good, That's average for a 3-month-old. In SNU, it's 6.5, almost 7 hours of unbroken sleep. In other words, we're maturing the brain 2 to 3 months earlier than we ever thought was possible. And what we're studying now is, well, if you can mature the brain to sleep longer, are there other ways that you can mature the brain as well? So I want to give you an example of that. Kangaroo care. We're off of pelicans now. Kangaroo care. Have you ever heard of that?
Oh, I don't know. I'm guessing it has to do with the mother holding them in the pouch.
Yeah, exactly right. But instead of a pouch, we kind of bind them against the chest. And we do this with little premature babies, like a 1-pound baby. And you put them on the mother so the baby feels the breathing and smells the mother and feels the movement of the day, is kept warm. And what has been done now is that we've been doing that for 30 years. And we measure the brain development of children 15 years later. And what do we see? We see that premature babies have difficulties with some of their brain development. The earlier you are, the more challenges you're going to have. Kangaroo care improves that, and almost all the way to being a regular normal term baby. And so what does that mean? It means that holding and rocking and closeness, those are things that are nurturing for a baby's brain. It's not just milk. You want to give them closeness. And so all day long, and I bet you did that, right? Did you hold your baby and carry your baby and give that type of skin to skin? But you do that for 12 hours.
The skin to skin feels a little awkward, I'll be honest with you. You're always like, oh, am I really doing this? Am I taking off my shirt? So, but anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a super cool thing to do. But anyway, here's the point. The point is that if you feed a baby, but you never hold them and carry them, their brains are not going to develop normally.
Gotcha.
If you do it 1 hour a day, that's better. 2 hours better than 1. 4 hours is better than 2. So what do? 12 hours at night, we have babies in kind of sensory deprivation. They're kind of in dark, still silence. If you ask 1,000 babies, do you want to be 12 hours by yourself in the dark or held and rocked and shushed?
Right, but that's the argument that listen, there's a lot of third world countries where everyone sleeps with their baby, and that would give you what you're asking for, but then you have the problem of rolling over and killing them.
That's right. So how can you give the baby the nurturing that they're going to do the best with, but keep them safe as well? Because we started SNU originally was not even about sleep. It was about how do we keep babies safe in the back. Unfortunately, I've had the experience of working with families who have lost their babies. You never recover. You just never recover. It is such a horrible experience. So we're really super excited about keeping babies safer. Yeah, we want to improve sleep at night, but also improve it during the day. Because during the day, when you're cooking dinner or taking a shower, most people don't have help in the house. But it used to be that everyone had 5 nannies, right? When you had your grandmother and your aunt and your older sister living next door to you.
I know, but I don't like that either.
Why?
Why? Whenever like my wife will have the discussion where she'll bring up some other country where, when a mother has a baby in this country for 6 years, the whole village just rubs her feet. I'm like, okay. There's some trade-offs to our country. We're not all awful. We have some great things here that they don't have there. So,
of course. But I mean,
we have doctors like you.
But you want to do it the tough. You want to, trial by fire. You want to show that you earned your stripes, and I did it the hard way, and I can tell everybody else. So why? And then you're the guy who goes later on and says, "You shouldn't be. You'll be just like the showrunner.
No, I won't.
You shouldn't be doing that."
I won't be like Charlie. Charlie, I'm not gonna be like, I encourage people to get it, and I'm all for help and family and community raising the kid. I don't love a lot of people in my house. That's my big objection to nannies and that things.
Yeah.
Where are you at? SNU or a night nurse?
It's not an either or. You can use a night nurse and a SNU because the night.
Well, then what's that night nurse doing?
Changing diapers, feeding, kind of bringing the baby to you to nurse. I mean, I'm not advocating it, mind you, but it's good to have help. Listen, do you know what postpartum depression is?
Of course.
Okay. Do you know how many women get postpartum depression?
30% is my guess.
Not a bad guess. So about 20% in the general population get depression and/or anxiety. But in the higher risk populations, inner city folks, single parents, things like that, it's more like 30%. So you're on target there. 30%, 20 to 30% of all normal mothers get clinical depression. That's like ridiculous.
Now, what percentage of that do you associate to them not getting a proper night's sleep?
A lot of it. So here's a bunch of things that lead to postpartum depression. Exhaustion, crying babies that you can't calm, fear that in the middle of the night your baby's going to roll to danger, and so you're looking and checking your baby, feeling like there's nobody there to help you, and feeling kind of incompetent, like nobody told me how hard this was going to be. I had no idea. I wasn't ready for this. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know. Who's not ready for it? We all know it's hard.
We all know it's hard, but you know something? They use crying babies and exhaustion to train Navy SEALs to endure torture. So it isn't just like mildly hard. If you're going night after night with sleep deprivation, it becomes like torture. My point is that we developed SNU to take care of all of those 5 things that lead to postpartum depression. So our goal, besides helping the babies and keeping them healthy and keeping them safe and helping to nurture their brains and preventing them from rolling to their death, is how can we support mothers and fathers to be healthy, to kind of be feeling successful instead of overwhelmed, and be able to go to their job every day so they can earn a living and pay for their family.
You believe in the 4th trimester?
Yes, I do.
What about abortions during the 4th trimester? No? that I was just curious.
Daniel.
Sorry about that. You believe in 4th trimester? What is? That's just.
But you know, a horse can run the first day of life. They have to be able to run to survive. If they can't run, they're going to get eaten or something. A baby,
Who's
a horse.
a horse. They eat horses if they don't run?
Yes, of course.
You serious?
The wolves, the coyotes.
Oh, you're talking about in the wild?
Yeah.
I just thought you were talking about like a random.
I guess it's
horse
lunchtime.
stable.
That's why you went there.
No,
but you know the babies are very helpless when they're born. They can't even smile yet. They can't even follow you across the room. So the only reason we have to kick them out is because their heads are so big. And so we have to deliver them into their 4th and take care of them as if it's a 4th trimester of care inside. That's the concept. But it helps people to know, because people used to say, don't go to the baby when they're crying. You're going to spoil them. You're going to make them feel like, like they're going to get everything they want just because they cry. And actually what you're doing in the beginning by going to them and holding them and responding to them quickly is you're building a sense of trust and confidence that they're going to then carry with them the rest of their lives. We call this attachment. So it's super important to give to them, to meet their needs as much as you can. You can't do everything, but as much as you can in those first 6 months of life. And later on, you're going to teach them, well, just because you cry doesn't mean you're going to get what you want. You can't have the scissors, period of end of story, and you're going to teach limits at that point. But you don't need to worry about that in the first 6 months.
The elephant in the room that people will always bring up when looking into your work is that you never had children, yet you're the expert on all babies. Well, although you do have a daughter, a
stepdaughter.
She works for you now too?
She does. Yeah, she's our head of marketing.
Do you ever swaddle her as an adult just to be funny? Did people ever say, "Oh my God, how would you relate to them?" And that's obviously
ignorant people say that. Yeah, I mean, it's like going to a gynecologist who's a man and saying, "How can you be a gynecologist?"
He's been on my show.
Really?
My wife's OB.
Seriously?
G1. Yeah. Would you love to have your brain, live forever? Forget that nonsense. But wouldn't you love to have your brain downloaded and then turned back on a couple 100 years from now to see how right or wrong you were about things? Because there's no way we're going to be doing things the exact same way that we do now with babies. But
yeah, that's curious. Yeah, of course. Like a time machine.
Well, because it's like, oh, babies sleep on their stomach. Now it's like, oh my God, make sure they're on a a coffee table.
There's just a study that just came out with that.
That says they can sleep on a softer bed?
No, it said that what we did by putting them on the back actually messed up with their sleep. It keeps them safer. It's definitely the only safe position. But babies don't like to sleep on the back. They wake themselves up.
My second one, oh my goodness, at about 3, maybe 4 months, I'll lie if this is inappropriate. But man, once she went over to her stomach and started, I was like, done.
Yeah.
I'm letting her.
But here's the thing. And I'm old enough that I used to only recommend sleeping on the stomach because we thought if you were on the back, you would vomit and choke and that caused deaths. It turned out we were 180 degrees wrong. Babies don't vomit and choke on their back. So that is safe from that point of view, but they don't like being on the back like your daughter. But here's the thing. They are safer on the back. And so why even be forced into that chance? Why not allow a child to sleep well, but sleep safely? And that's really what SNU is trying to do.
I mean, it's weird. It's weird the compromises you'll make with yourself for an extra 30 minutes of sleep.
That's the torture thing.
If my kids are good sleepers, do I get any credit for it as a parent or no?
Yeah, you did a fantastic job.
I didn't know. Well, I didn't know because I didn't know if it was one of these things where you're not supposed to take pride over that because, just because your kid's a bad sleeper doesn't mean you're a bad parent.
No, but it's like the first question they ask you, right? When the kid's born, they say, boy or girl, but once you're home, they say, how's your kid sleeping? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, like,
right.
You're falling apart.
That's why I'm saying it. Like, well, no, but they always say it like, is your kid sleeping? And then people say, oh, he's sleeping great. And you try to wear that as a badge of honor. But I didn't think that it was actually a badge of honor.
Yeah, take it. Take it whenever you can, right?
No. Well, then I'm amazing. How much is this new? $1,700, brand new? If no rebate, no nothing. I just want to buy one off the shelf.
That's about what it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So you use it for 6 months.
6 months is how long?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's like $9 a day. So would you pay $9 a day for an hour or two more sleep? And I know you wouldn't. Right. You wouldn't want it at all.
I'll buy one of those fancy mattresses that with the plaid. What are they? $100,000. What are they called? Hastings or whatever. In Beverly Hills, they have a store.
The horsehair one.
Yes, the horse. You have a horsehair mattress? I don't have one.
No,
I just have a Tempur-Pedic.
I sleep on a just on a table like this.
No, you don't. You like a firm bed?
I do like a firm bed.
Do you have it elevated slightly?
No.
I have mine. I have two. I have
do you
3-inch
snore?
risers. No, little acid reflux, I guess. But
that helps.
Do you ever own a water bed in your life?
Yeah, I did.
You did?
I did. Yeah.
The worst night's sleep ever.
I hate it. Yeah, I hate it. Exactly right. Seasick. I had to take Dramamine every night.
How many hours a night are you sleeping?
6, 7. When you're older,
it's less.
You don't need as much. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm way more. What time do you go to bed?
Usually 11, 12.
Do you nap?
Sometimes, yeah. Yeah,
do you like to nap?
Yeah,
I love a nap.
Yeah, a nap is good.
I nap almost every day.
Do you?
Almost every day.
That's good.
My favorite thing is when I read an article where it tells you like, oh, the healthiest thing you can do is get lots of sleep. And I'm like, oh.
That's right, doctor's orders.
My wife and I sleep and our kids sleep. It's, people always like, oh, you should have the same religion or you have to have a lot in common. I don't know if we have a lot in common, but we both love sleeping. And that has proved to made a good marriage. Colic, it's a broad term for prolonged crying or fussiness. Can wives have colic?
It depends on their husbands, I would assume.
Because there's just sometimes I just don't understand how she can be so loud for so long.
Well, so the word colic comes from the same word as colon, meaning intestine. Right? And so for thousands of years, people have said, well, colic, the babies just cry, they get red in the face, they grunt, and so go, I think it's their stomach is bothering them. But here's the way that it isn't that. It's that when the baby is really fussy, and sometimes we say, drive them around in the car, and they fall asleep in the car. Well, a car is not going to make pain go away, or bouncing on a yoga ball, things like that. So it turns out for the most part, colic is a child who is like really sensitive and they don't have enough calming rhythms. I mean, like if you hold and rock your child all day long, they're much less fussy. So you kind of pay it in before they get fussy in the evening.
You're retired. You're not a practicing doctor.
No, I'm not. I'm not seeing patients.
Right, but you run this new empire.
Run this new business. Yeah. So the happiest baby is our business.
But whenever you say this new, you always say we. That seems nice. But are you really the single person that invented it?
I had the idea, But to turn an idea, it's like my wife's uncle is an incredibly successful CEO, pharmaceutical guy, and he said, "Give me a great idea, I'll give you $1. Make it work, I'll give you $1 million." Having the idea is one thing, but you need engineers, and this was actually difficult. This was very difficult to design.
I can imagine.
And my wife, God bless her, is like there'd be no company without her. She found our factories, raised our money, hired our executive team. She has been just incredible. So it really is a team. And my daughter
That sounds like somebody that doesn't have a prenup.
She has trust. She has trust.
Okay, but if when it comes down to it, you're the one that would make the final decision if this company were to be sold. Weren't you offered $100 million or something crazy, and you said no, thank you?
Yeah, we were in the very beginning because we didn't want a company to screw it up.
I love everything about you. Do you ever read reviews of your product on like Yelp?
Yeah, sure.
And do you ever write to them?
No.
Okay.
No, it's not. There's only pain and suffering in trying to get into those dialogues. Listen, here's what my mother told me. She said, if there's no controversy, you haven't introduced anything new. So don't worry about controversy. And so people, and listen, no one product works for everybody, but this works like 98%.
The only real controversy with you is that I've seen is that you attach to a lot of celebrities at the beginning. People said that wasn't whatever, and then it wasn't obtainable for everybody. Now you've said $5 a day or something like that.
But yeah, and our goal is everyone gets it for free. I mean, thousands of people get a free snoo from their employer. So anyone who's listening can go to their employer.
What employers are good at this?
JP Morgan Chase, Under Armour, Snapchat, Dunkin' Donuts.
I'm not going to work for Under Armour just for a snoo.
How about Sonic Burgers? Would that? No. National Air Traffic Controllers Union? Would you?
Sonic Burgers gives free snooze?
Yeah.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah. So anyway, the point being that our goal is everyone's going to get it for free. So insurance will cover it. Now we're starting to work with Medicaid programs so that the most at-risk populations can get this. Because the goal, like you said, I'm 72. I'm not a startup guy. I'm not a roboticist. I'm not a techie guy. I'm here. My wife and I really started this, and this is just the way it is. We started this because it was a serious problem and it wasn't getting better year after year. Mm-hmm. In the last 20 years, you know how many babies have died of SIDS? It's the same number of American babies as American soldiers who died in Vietnam. I mean, it's just an absolute travesty. And so that's why we started this, because we thought we could make a difference. So now the goal is to get everybody to get it for free, and we're working hard to do that, and it'll be paid for by, the insurance folks.
I heard Beyonce bought 36 of them. Is that true?
No comment.
All right. Why'd you name it Snoo?
When we tested it out, people smiled when they said the word snoo, so that's kind of a positive thing. We have the 5 S's. We wanted this to be one of the S's. Do you know about the 5 S's also?
Yes, I know about the 5 S's. Sarcasm. Do you do that? That always works with my child.
Yeah, split personality.
Sneezing. You should never sneeze in a baby's face. That's a bad idea. The 5 shh, shh, shh. That's of course that's one. Swaddle. What's this? Swinging. Okay.
Yeah, sucking and the side stomach position.
Sarcasm isn't one of them, though. Interesting.
So everyone knows you hold a baby, rock them, it's going to work. But why does it work?
They get dizzy?
Did you ever fall asleep like on a long-haul airplane flight or in a car?
Yes.
Yeah. So all adults do that. They like to rock in hammocks. We like the sound of the wind and the ocean.
I love a hammock.
You don't? Okay. Well, rocking on the ocean, do you like that feel? No? Right. You don't in a boat? No?
But boats, no. I don't like that either.
No, okay.
I don't nap at sea often. You ever been on a cruise?
Yeah. I like it a lot.
You cruise?
No. I've been on personal cruise. Cruise,
right. You've been on a yacht.
The right way.
You've been on some oligarchs.
They always want a doctor on board.
How many Russian oligarchs have asked you to be their primary care physician?
I cannot give you information.
I got you.
The cool thing about one of the things that I really enjoy about the 5 S's.
Actually, back to the 5 S's.
What is the reason that the 5 S's work? Well, it imitates the uterus. But why does the imitating the uterus work? And this was actually the kind of thing that I really discovered. This was the aha moment, which is that babies are born with lots of reflexes. That's a built-in software so that they survive. Like you don't teach a baby to suck or to swallow. They know how to do that all on their own. You don't teach them how to cry. But it turns out they're born with an off switch for crying. And the that off switch is activated by imitating the womb. And the reason that that's so important, the entire survival of the species is dependent upon babies having that off switch. Because if they're swimming around too much before they're born, they'll get stuck in a sideways position or in a breech position where their head is up and their feet are down. And then they get stuck coming out and they die and they kill their mothers. So all of us are descendants of these Zen little babies who are kind of put into a trance by the rhythms and the sound of the womb. The whole reason that you have mantras or that people like to rock, you know how you see people with their legs going back and forth when they're nervous and kind of jittery?
And they shake the table.
And they shake the table.
Infuriating.
I know, it's annoying, but it's soothing for them. And all of that is really related to this very ancient part of our biology. There's the book, The Happiest Baby on the Block, which I kind of don't recommend people read because there's a video. I mean, it's a great book and it's got interesting stuff, but to really learn the 5 S's, you got to watch it. And so there's a video we have that teaches that. It's kind of like learning how to tie your shoelaces. You know, you're going to learn it better by watching somebody than by reading a book about it.
Just how hard is it to learn shh, 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 and then snuggly and huggy and
so here's the kind of nuance to it, right? It's on the side, rolled towards the stomach, not rolled towards the back. So people oftentimes mess that up, or they have to swaddle arms tight but legs loose. And the shushing, how loud do you do the shushing? People all the time are, you know, like what you just did, the shh, shh, shh. That's not the way it is for babies. Because inside the womb, before babies are born, which is what you're imitating, it's louder than a vacuum cleaner.
How do you know?
It's been measured. It's science.
Got it. I didn't know they could measure. I didn't know they could measure it.
Yeah.
I didn't know they could measure it. Okay. No, listen. I go as loud as I need to break her or him out of whatever they're in.
Yeah, but people, when they do that, they go, I feel bad, like I'm saying shut up or something like that.
No.
But you have to, you're exactly right. You go to the level of their crying and then you kind of bring them down for a soft landing.
All right, see, I don't have to read it or watch it.
Yeah, you're a natural. You're a natural.
I give everybody that's on my show a gift, but I have to grab it over here. It's not a real gift. It's just something from my house that I don't want anymore, and then they have to take it. Do you like massages?
No.
Okay. You'll love
Oh,
this.
it's Theragun. Well, Theragun.
No, because I figure if it's like a massage, but it's a machine that does it for you, much like the snoo is a person rocking you. You can just have this. I never liked this. Somebody got me this, and I'm like, I'm not using this. I like a real massage. You give yourself a happy ending with this, you're going to get hurt. So here, you can take my massage gun.
Thank you so much. That's incredibly generous.
Wait,
you know what?
I have more things for you. I forgot. I have this is you ever use like a face mist before you go to bed? It's supposed to help you sleep, like a spray.
Is it lavender or something?
I don't.
Like that?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I don't like the smell of this one, so I'm going to give that to you. And this is just some essential oils called Unwind. It's going to help you sleep more.
And you hate this one too.
I don't like that one either.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to get this off my table. I don't. You wrote happiest baby on the block, happiest toddler on the block. Any plans on publishing happiest / sometimes depressed / most awkward teenager on the block?
You know something? That is the toddler book. Teenagers and toddlers have a lot in common.
Toddler starts at 1 and goes till when?
Toddler starts at 8 months.
8 months.
And goes up to, 70s, 80s. I mean, listen, everyone becomes a toddler when they get upset enough, right? They throw a fit and they're not reasonable and they can't hear what you're saying. Toddlers are between being an infant and being a kid. And they want to do things that they can't quite do yet, but then they fall and they cry like little babies. They're going back and forth. Teenagers, I want to be a kid and I want to be an adult. I don't want to clean up my room. Can I have the car keys? It is really trying to find their way to make the jump into adulthood. So a lot of the way you communicate actually is very, very similar. Have you checked out Happiest Toddler on the Block?
No.
So you don't like any of my work, basically.
No.
You're just avoiding me.
No, I married someone that is so smart that
You just delegated.
I did.
You're out surfing.
I delegated it and I went surfing. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
It's like I have so much confidence in now here I have tons of experience with babies. I have a large family. They all had children early. I've always been around babies. Babysitting was my key source of income from like 11 years on. I've just always been very comfortable around kids. Well, and not to, brag that my kids are better than all of their friends, but like we have a large group of friends in our neighborhood. My kids are the only ones that get jokes and when somebody is serious and not serious. Like they can just tell. Yet if I tell another kid, go to sleep right now, like they'll just be like, they'll shriek. My kid knows that's not real.
Yeah, because you've taught them that over and over and over again, right? That's the lesson.
Oh, you got to teach them.
Yeah.
You got to teach them how to get jokes.
All that stuff. And also not to take, like little kids love to negotiate with you and learn how to negotiate so that, oh no, that's too hard. You're asking too much for me. I can't, okay, you drove a hard bargain. Okay, I will give you one Cheerio if you brush your teeth, and you make them feel like they're winning out through this negotiation. So you don't want to take it so seriously that everything is earnest and heavy.
My kid's not going to do shit for one Cheerio. All right.
Okay, Dan. Two Cheerios. No, you win.
It better be at least Honey Nut Cheerios, or he's not even getting out of bed.
If you wanted to see the future, read The Happiest Toddler, because you will understand ways to communicate with kids that people who, like preschool teachers and pediatricians who do this as a profession, are able to do to get kids to cooperate and stuff like that. Like in my practice, I had a reputation in Santa Monica for being the doctor that if your kid hated doctors and was scared of doctors, that I would help them get over that. Because it's all about how you communicate and approach them. And I bet as a comedian, you already have a lot of skills that you're using because you don't take it all so seriously and so earnestly, which is half of the problem, right? People are just so incredibly, I don't want to hurt their feelings, or, I can't make them do this or that. And you don't take the responsibility of being a parent. And so part of what I talk about in the book is how do you set limits and how do you do the tough things that you have to do as a parent, because you're not their friend, you're their parent.
I'm also their friend. Maternity leave. It's bad in this country. Paternity leave also. How long should people get off from work to focus on their newborn baby?
A year is a good amount of time.
Holy cow.
I mean, here's an interesting thing that's going on. Everyone knows about the climate crisis. Bad things are happening there. Not a lot of people know about the population cliff, which means that there aren't enough babies being born. I know you've advocated having fewer babies being born, but
have I?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure I've made a joke about it, but I have two children. John over here keeps spitting out kids every week.
So here's the thing. In a lot of countries, the population has dropped. In the United States, it's dropped 20% over the last decade. But in some places like Korea, Japan, Italy, even China now, it's plummeting. And what that means is 20 or 30 years from now, you're not going to have people to pick up the garbage, to do all the jobs, to pay the taxes. It's all going to be a bunch of old people and nobody to take care of them. 20, 30 years ago, we were worried about overpopulation. It has shifted like a 180, and now it's a very serious international problem.
Are you saying, though, that there's going to be more affordable land available for my kids' future? That's not all bad.
No, it isn't. So there's a silver lining for the Toshes. Everybody else is screwed.
The Toshes. Oh, they finally catch a break. Dr. Karp, thank you very much for being here today. I appreciate it.
So good to meet you, Daniel.
Shh. Still got a baby sleeping. Tosh Show. I want to thank Dr. Karp. Good stuff. I learned a lot, but it doesn't matter now because my kids are past the age. Now, if I have a third child, shoot me. Here's a good guest. Carl, why are you sitting over here? You want to tell everybody why? Because your birthday's coming up. His birthday's this week. Carl's going to be 3 years old. Send us some stuff. You know what the problem with our podcast is now? What? It's reached like my outer circle. Well, so I got an inner circle, right? Which is just the people I see constantly, friends. Then there's this outer circle of people I know. And then they kind of keep coming up to me. The other day, like a guy goes, "Oh my goodness, you know so-and-so?" And I'm like, yeah, I know. He goes, "You got to have him on your podcast. He's not a celebrity. He'd be perfect." And I just like looked at him like, oh no, I don't think he would. I don't find him interesting at all. Or I'll get this. I get this a lot now, Eddie. People, I could never be a guest on your podcast. I could never do it. And I'm like, yeah, no shit. I would never ask you. What's going on? We've got some tour dates. Make sure you come see me do stand-up comedy. Carl will be there. What else? boyswearpink.com. If you want to get something cute for your little one. What else, Carl?
Like a puppet.
What else? What else, buddy? What else? Oh, that goat. What episode are we on now? How many more are there? When are we at the penultimate? Do you know what the penultimate means? It's the second to last. I always feel smart whenever I say penultimate. Oh, brother. Well, got another bedtime story for my son. I'll see you guys next week. Happy birthday, Carl. Give me one quick story before Mom reads. Go ahead. Just a short one.
Once upon a time, in a little small land, where there were trees going anywhere, a big wizard tractor decided that he was only be afraid, but he was only afraid the grass so it would be flat. So he could ride. So one day, he decided to be a push tractor. So he got a saddle. He pushed it all the way through the plants so they would go high and tall. But he decided that he was going to be a mail truck one day. He would then dress up as a mail truck and put mail into pretend mail, and he would say, "Here's your mail." Everyone decided to get mail. Boo, it's Halloween. You tell me. But the only thing he didn't know that there was a milk die. He loved milk. Anytime the milk died, if anybody would either drink the milk and they walked it away from the table, the milkman would do this. Just like the Dumbledore. But the milkman, as he didn't know, there was a little cave. He stepped, and then he sat down to the milk cave. He saw a way to get out of the milk cave. The end.
Wow.
That was a good story.